of the TV series, then these two verses are said in the opening credits of like Ramayana and Mahabharata. So almost every Hindu or Indian will know these two verses. Actually, they're really important verses to know, because then you know why Krishna and Krishna's incarnations, for instance, Lord Ram or Varahadev, the boar incarnation, or Lord Buddha, or etc. These are all Vishnu incarnations. So why they appear in this material world? And they appear in order to establish Dharma, religious principles in the world again. So Krishna, in this instance, he is performing the pastime of chastising his demon, Kaliya, because he is causing chaos in Sri Vrindavan Dham. So, out of affection for his devotees, the residents of Vrindavan, and also to bestow mercy upon Kaliya, he went to engage in battle, or in battle. Battle is a heavy word, but to have a transcendental fight, a play fight with Kaliya. And it's very nice how there's descriptions here about how Krishna tightens his belt, he slaps his arms, and gets like really like, I'd say, pumped up, you know. Like if you watch MMA fights, or even Manny Pacquiao, you know, in boxing, and then they're like, you know, usually 1 or 2 days before the fight, they're like sizing each other up, you know, Manny Pacquiao and his opponent, and they're like, they got their fists up and they're like staring each other down. So, you know, slapping the arms, they're getting ready to like intimidate or get fired up to getting prepared for the fight. So Krishna is also doing this. It's really wonderful. Yeah. And it's also said that the Acharyas explained that Krishna also ties back his locks of his hair in order to prepare for battle. So yeah, Krishna is getting ready for battle. And the residents of Vrindavan, upon seeing this, you will read in the next verses, how they're completely overwhelmed with anxiety, concern. They're feeling great fear, even just by seeing Krishna jumping into the lake, because the residents of Vrindavan, they do not, their relationship with them is through pure love, you know, kevala bhakti. There is no sense of aishvarya or reverence with the residents of Vrindavan, with Krishna. And so they don't even see Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but they see him as just this wonderful, sweet blue boy who plays on his flute and is very, very cheeky and likes to steal butter, and all these activities are just to increase our attachment, to think about Krishna, about how wonderful he is. So, yeah, the devotees are feeling great distress by seeing Krishna jump into the lake. And even Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, they hear later that Krishna is fighting a great serpent demon, and so they also come to the shore of the Yamuna. And just by seeing Krishna fighting Kaliya, and then Krishna is amidst the coils of Kaliya, that Kaliya is strangling him, and seemingly Krishna is pretending that he's losing his life. Also, Mother Yashoda, she is completely overwhelmed, and she faints, she loses consciousness. So this is the extent of the love of the residents of Vrindavan. I'm wondering whether I should read the next verse and then maybe read a bit from Krishna book. About 15 minutes. So let's see. 15. I think I'll read a couple more verses because there's no purports anyway, and then we can read from Krishna book. So I'll read from text 8 now. Oh no, from text 7. And I'll just read the translation. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead landed in the Serpent's Lake, the snakes there became extremely agitated and began breathing heavily, further polluting it with volumes of poison. The force of the Lord's entrance into the lake caused it to overflow on all sides, and poisonous, fearsome waves flooded the surrounding lands up to a distance of 100 bow lengths. This is not at all amazing, however, for the Supreme Lord possesses infinite strength. Text 8. Krishna began sporting in Kaliya's lake like a lordly elephant, swirling his mighty arms and making the water resound in various ways. When Kaliya heard these sounds, he understood that someone was trespassing in his lake. The serpent could not tolerate this and immediately came forward. According to the Acharyas, Lord Krishna was producing wonderful musical sounds within the water simply by splashing his hands and arms. I'll read a bit more. Text 9. Kaliya saw that Sri Krishna, who wore yellow silken garments, was very delicate. His attractive body, shining like a glowing white cloud, his chest bearing the mark of Srivats, his face smiling beautifully, and his feet resembling the whirl of a lotus flower. The Lord was playing fearlessly in the water, despite his wonderful appearance. The envious Kaliya furiously bit him on the chest and then completely enwrapped him in his spoils. Text 10. When the members of the cowherd community who had accepted Krishna as their dearmost friend saw him enveloped in the snake's coils, motionless, they were greatly disturbed. They had offered Krishna everything, their very selves, their families, their wealth, wives, and all pleasures. At the sight of the Lord in the clutches of the Kaliya snake, their intelligence became deranged by grief, lamentation, and fear, and thus they fell to the ground. Purport. Srila Sanatana Goswami explains that the cowherd boys, along with some cowherd men and farmers who happened to be in the vicinity and were also devotees of Krishna, fell to the ground just like trees that had been cut at the root. Wow, that's beautiful. So I'll stop there. Let's see. I'll read just one more. This one kind of wraps it up. Text 11. The cows, bulls, and female cows, in great distress, called out piteously to Krishna. Fixing their eyes on him, they stood still in fear, as if ready to cry, but were too shocked to shed tears. I really like this analogy here in the text 10, where Srila Goswami says that the cowherd boys, they fell to the ground just like trees that had been cut at the root. Because Krishna is the root of our existence. Actually, there is nothing separate from Krishna. that everything belongs to Krishna. Our very all of our senses, our very life force itself, everything is just comprised of Krishna's energies. And so actually nothing belongs to us. Krishna is the complete whole. Like it says in Sri Upanishad, Om Purnam Purnamidam Purnapurnasya Udachyate Purnamadaya Purnameva Vishishyate. It's been a while since I recited that mantra. Yeah, so Krishna is a complete whole, and even though he expands his energies, he's still complete. That is the difference between spiritual energy and material energy. For instance, if you, even if you share something, share some prasadam with someone, then half of it goes to your friend, and then you only get 50%. Like Krishna, if he expands his energies, he's still complete in himself. So I'll just read more from Krishna book until 9 o'clock. Very wonderful to read the pastimes of Krishna directly from the lotus lips of a pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada. And you just have to remember where we're up to. But anyway, we are reading from chapter 16. If anyone has the text, they can open it up. It's entitled Subduing Kaliya. Okay, I remember now. Okay, I found it. So, we're reading up to the section that starts, when Mother Yashoda arrived. This is the start of a paragraph. It says, when Mother Yashoda arrived, she wanted to enter the river Yamuna, and being checked, she fainted. Other friends who were equally aggrieved were shedding tears like torrents of rain or waves of the river. But in order to bring Mother Yashoda to consciousness, they began to speak loudly about the transcendental pastimes of Krishna. Mother Yashoda remained still, as if dead, but her consciousness was concentrated on the face of Krishna. Nanda and all others who dedicated everything, including their lives, to Krishna, were ready to enter the waters of the Yamuna. The Lord Balaram checked them because he was in perfect knowledge, and that there was no danger. For 2 hours, Krishna remained like an ordinary child, gripped in the coils of Kaliya. But when he saw that all the inhabitants of Gokul, including his mother and father, the gopis, the boys and the cows, were just on the point of death, that they had no shelter for salvation from imminent death, Krishna immediately freed himself. He began to expand his body, and when the serpent tried to hold him, he felt a great strain. On account of the strain, his coils slackened, and he had no other alternative but to let loose the personality of Godhead Krishna from his grasp. Kaliya then became very angry, and his great hoods expanded. He exhaled poisonous fumes from his nostrils, his eyes blazed like fire, and flames issued from his mouth. The great serpent remained still for some time, looking at Krishna. Licking his lips with bifurcated tongues, the serpent looked at Krishna with double hoods, and its eyesight was full of poison. Krishna immediately pounced upon him, just as Garuda swoops upon a snake. Thus attacked, Kaliya looked for an opportunity to bite him. but Krishna moved around him. As Krishna and Kaliya moved in a circle, the serpent gradually became fatigued, and his strength seemed to diminish considerably. Krishna immediately pressed down the serpent's hood and jumped up on them. The Lord's lotus feet became tinged with red from the rays of the jewels on the snake's hoods. Then he who is the original artist of all fine arts, such as dancing, began to dance upon the hoods of the serpent, although they were moving to and fro. Upon seeing this, denizens from the upper planets began to shower flowers, beat drums, play different types of flutes, and sing various prayers and songs. In this way, all the denizens of heaven, such as the Gandharvas, Siddhas, and demigods, became very pleased. Does anyone have any questions or comments or statements? I can continue on, but if not, then...
This is a very nice verse.
Yeah.
Because Krishna is to go out with his friends, not to pretend not to go to the forest. Imagine there are friends with 5 years old, 6 years old. But imagine that we only go to the house with his, the Lord Krishna's house, brother Bhagavatam. But then, all of his friends are just getting thirsty. Then they went to that Yamuna River. Yamuna River, they drank the water. After that, all of a sudden, they died. All died, deadly on the ground. And they used to go to drink the water there. That's why Krishna, when he saw all of his friends, so he invited all of his friends that nothing is difficult for Krishna. Because Krishna is very powerful. Yes,
Is this the first time you're hearing this story? No, you've heard it before? Yeah. Oh, yeah? Okay. Okay, nice. So, this is a very nice time to stop, but okay, I read just a little bit more. While Krishna was dancing on his hoods, Kaliya tried to push him down with some of his other hoods. Kaliya had about 100 hoods, but Krishna took control of them. He began to dash Kaliya with his lotus feet, and this was more than the serpent could bear. Gradually, Kaliya was reduced to struggling for his very life. He vomited all kinds of refuse and exhaled fire. While throwing up poisonous material from within himself, Kaliya became reduced in his sinful situation. Out of great anger, he began to struggle for existence and tried to raise one of his hoods to kill the Lord. The Lord immediately captured that hood and subdued it by kicking it and dancing on it. It actually appeared as if the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, was being worshipped. The poison emanating from the mouth of the serpent appeared to be like flower offerings. Kaliya then began to vomit blood instead of poison. He was completely fatigued. His whole body appeared to be broken by the kicks of the Lord. Within his mind, however, he finally began to understand that Krishna was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he began to surrender unto him. He realized that Krishna was the Supreme Lord, the Master of everything. Jai. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, ki. Srila Prabhupada, ki. Srimad Bhagavatam, ki. Srila Prabhupada, ki. Jai. Hari Hari Bo.
Krishna's mission is in this material world is to protect, need to vanquish all the undesirable things. Always to protect people. No matter what happens, always remember. Yes, kill all of the demons. If you are bad, you should kill us. If you are bad. Hello?
Finish.
Yeah, it's complete.